Okay, guys, I'm going to give you this news story of an active shooter situation that's actually currently going on right now as I record this. And YouTube, I'm not going to give my commentary. I'm just going to give you this report. A reported shooting in Northern California has left at least 3 dead. The Tehama County Sheriff's Office says the shooting happened near an elementary school in Rancho Tehama around 8 a.m. local time. Quote, multiple students have been airlifted from the scene, according to Assistant Sheriff Phil Johnston.
I don't know what time the call came in. It was right about 8 a.m. We had multiple shots fired in Rancho Tehama. That evolved to multiple victims and multiple shots at the school, the elementary school. I am told at this point the suspected shooter is deceased by law enforcement bullets. That's what I'm told. I don't have a list of victims. I don't know how many victims. I know of at least 3 deaths. I don't know any information at this time about any of the victims at the school. I know that we have medevaced a number of students. I know that the school has been cleared. I know that we have the children that were attending school in a safe location at this time. That is, you now know really what I know. Okay? We have about 100 law enforcement personnel in Rancho Tehama right now with multiple scenes. I can think of at least 5 scenes that I've been told about. So we are spread thin, but we have a lot of resources right now, and you can see that we're still requesting ambulances and we're still doing our work. That's the only information I have.
A 6-year-old is reportedly among the injured. Rancho Tehama Elementary School is reportedly currently on lockdown. Local law enforcement have blocked off the road that leads to the school. This is a breaking live news feed from KRCR News Channel 7.
All I can think about is all the other shootings that happened at the schools that, how they would walk in the classrooms and start shooting the kids. My concern was not letting them in and keeping the kids safe. And if they had to shoot me first, it would be me going, not them.
And what were the kids like during this period? Were they frightened? Did they know what was going on?
I don't think they knew quite yet what was going on because they were in the main little office in the classroom, rushed in. They were just really scared because they were, there was not their normal routine. The normal routine is go in there, sit down and read a book first by the teacher, and here they're rushed into the office, all buckled down, told to be quiet, lights out.
And you earlier, we were talking on the phone earlier, you were saying that these gunmen may have actually shot down from kind of an elevated ramp area because some of the children were under desks and the little boy you described being hit?
In order to see through the window, you have to come up to the little ramp a little bit, and you can look down and you'll see the students, but they were already down underneath the desk, so he had to shoot downwards and then also shoot upwards a little bit for the first few shots. So they had to come close to the window in order to see the students.
Now you think you saw one of the gunmen. What did that person look like?
He was dressed out in green camo, and I couldn't really see the face because I was told to get out of the window. And as soon as I left the window, that was when our window was blasted within seconds.
So that man was in green camo. You were describing maybe between 30 and 40 years old, your estimate?
Yeah, maybe a little older, but no older than that.
Was he wearing a mask or anything to hide his face when you saw him?
I don't think so. I couldn't see his face really. I just saw the leggings and like a green coat looking thing.
And then was he running away from the school or was he, shooting at the school?
He was in the middle of the school shooting the windows from him. That's what I was seeing.
And did he had a long gun then? The weapon you saw was some type of long gun?
No, I couldn't really see the gun. I didn't have a chance to really see it. I just got out of the window quick as I was told to, and that's when they were shot through the windows.
And what leads you to believe that there were 2 gunmen?
Because the first 3 shots that were fired were loud, or big, powerful ones, and then the next one after that was like a, not so. It was a weaker of the 3, and it was a little farther away from my window. And it was on the other side of the school.
And what was, you said you were there for 20 to 25 minutes. At what point were they able to get you to safety and evacuated?
Well, it was about good, maybe at 8:40-ish, 8:45. The SWAT teams started going through all the rooms and making sure that there's no more people injured and no more kids hurt. And I found out that our room was one of the ones that were nailed with with the child hurt. And they rushed him to the ambulance and real quick. And then after that, 10 minutes after that, they let us go one by one, as long as the parent was there to pick up the child. If not, then they were evacuated to the rec hall down the road.
So the status on the ground there right now, what is the situation? Are they still actively looking for gunmen?
There's choppers. There's a plane circling around every few seconds for all the properties. They're still blocked off on the main entrance into the ranch, and they still have some roads blocked off with a dozen or so more people injured or dead.
What is information you're getting? Because we're having a difficulty confirming a lot of this information because, you know, the cell phone coverage in that area is less
I
than
know there was a
consistent.
couple of people injured and one was dead because I drove right by them because some of the main roads were blocked off from the detectives and the sheriffs. So I had to go a route around them. And I came across the fire hall area where you could see a couple of vehicles just blasted up, which I'm pretty assuming they were other people who were running for them to try to chase them down or running away from them as they were in the way of them escaping. And one female was on the side of the road dead, with I believe is her husband or boyfriend, which was shot in the leg, waiting next to her for the ambulance to come. And they were still waiting. And that's on, and a couple other people on the other side of the ranch were shot because one of the guys that saw the gunman told him to shoot him and not the school, and they shot him in the arm.
Didn't you say you saw a school bus driver chasing them away from the school?
The bus driver was, he didn't go into the classrooms. He actually stayed out there to pretty much go for the gunman. And I seen him running around the building where the gunman was coming from.
So just so we get a clear timeline, it sounds like the whole incident started there at the school. We've heard witness accounts that a white pickup crashed through a gate at the school.
Yes, white pickup with 4 bullet holes in it. It was going about 70 miles an hour or so, and down the road from the school. And it was left on Fawn Road. And then I'm pretty sure that was the gunman that they haven't found yet.
And so your information is they have one of the gunmen and they're still searching for the second gunman.
Yes.
And what is your information on the gunman that they currently have in custody? Is that gunman alive?
I don't think so. I think he was shot dead. He had a shootout with one of the officers.
So
Not
at this,
110% sure, but my resource said that he was being shot at and he didn't make it.
so at this point, what are you doing? That whole area is pretty much on lockdown, people not being allowed in or out?
Yes, unless they have a student that's at the rec hall, they're allowed to come and get them real quick and then go back home and stay there until further notice.
Describe when you were in that classroom with those little kids, were there announcements being made to, that there was an active shooter, or were the kids being told to get under the desk? What are you telling kids that they're that young, 6 years old?
Well, they must have been doing some type of drills before then or notified because evidently they knew exactly what to do as soon as we hit the classroom. The teacher's like, you know what to do, get under your desk, and they all just ducked underneath the desk and stayed there, and then in a couple of seconds, the teacher's like, no, let's go to the middle office right here in the classroom, and they all went in that little cubicle, and they shut the door there, and they knew what they were doing. They were smart kids.
Rancho Tehama
But there was no announcements on the PTA or nothing, because the front office is like, it's a small school, so there wasn't no time to do anything besides just buckle down and stay put, and hopefully less were injured.
Yeah, how many grades do you have there at that school?
I believe it goes from K through 8. And some of the classrooms are mixed in with different grades because of being so small.
So Rancho Tehama being a very small community, about 3,500 people, has anyone been talking about a motive, or do people know who these gunmen were?
We don't think there was no motive because we were still stunned as why they would even want to go to school and shoot us up. And for the gunmen, we really don't know. There's a couple of people in the back of the ranch that are kind of out there. But then I'm hearing also that one of the gunmen had his gun still, even though the cops were supposed to take him from an incident that happened a while back, and they still didn't do it. And that's just what I've been hearing just recently.
And you said in the process, were you aware of anyone at the school that may have been armed and able to fire back? It was like 20 minutes before deputies were able to arrive?
As far as I know, there was no guns allowed on school, and I don't think anybody did. You know, there's only a few teachers there and a couple secretaries, and the bus driver, you know, and they do 2 jobs there. You know, one they work in the cafeteria and drive a bus, or their yard duty and secretary. You know, so it's a small school. They do 2 or 3 more jobs, and you know, confined together. So I don't see any of them had any type of weapon to defend themselves or defend anybody there.
So just to update our audience in case they're just tuning in, you have heard, you saw with your own eyes one person deceased. Are you aware of any other victims? You told about the 2 students who were shot at the school. You saw the one woman deceased along the road. Are you aware of any?
There was another gentleman that was shot in the arm who was right there in front of the gunman telling him, just don't shoot the school, shoot me instead. And they shot him in the arm, and then they took off running or some sort of like that. And I think his name was Jesse.
Boy, talk about a hero. You said he said, don't shoot the school, shoot me?
Yes.
And that was the bus driver?
No, that was another bystander who was down the road that heard the gunshots. He was just not that far away from the school.
So what's the environment right now? Are there still police actively moving through that area looking for this suspect?
I assume so, because the helicopter or the airplane's still flying, and there's no traffic on the roads. So, and like I said, we're not supposed to be going anywhere. And my mother's still out and about because she went looking for us. And then, like I said, they have all certain roads blocked off. So, if we live on the ranch, they were told to go home and stay put. And I mean, there's a dozen ambulances, fire trucks, SWAT teams, sheriffs. We have it. They brought it with us. They have it all here. Fire trucks, everything.
And how's your daughter? How's your daughter reacting to all of this?
They were all really good. They were strong until they realized that the gunshots were fired through their classroom, and then they got really scared, and they just wanted to go home. All they said is they wanted to go home. And why would you do this? You know, like, why would they shoot us? And some of these questions I couldn't really answer. I don't have them for them. And when they saw their friend shot up on the ground, they just all started bawling. They all started crying because they knew that their friend was shot. It was really, really sincere. I don't know. I started crying because they felt so bad for him. You know, it was right next to me when they shot him. I was like right there.
And people who are unfamiliar with that area, it is a rural area. You know, it's service is just outside of town. How far of a drive is it to get into Corning or Red Bluff?
About 25 minutes. 20 minutes if you want to go 55 or 60. So either way, either direction you go, north or south, you'll get to town in 25 minutes. And like I said, we have our own post office, our own store, everything out here. So we're self-included, you know. If we really wanted to, we didn't really have to leave the ranch to do anything. We could stay here in the post office and the rec hall and everything.
And would you estimate about 100 students at that school?
Yeah, perhaps more. I would say a little bit more, maybe.
Do you feel safe going outside at this point, or are you going to stay inside for a while?
Well, I'm on a porch right at the moment, so I got a wide view of looking around, and I'm pretty sure I feel safe at the moment because there's a lot of cops and sheriffs around. So, and they're pretty fast after they got here to cut the roads off and handle the situation. So.
Well, Coy Ferreira, we appreciate you calling us and giving your firsthand account of what happened today. And anyone else who may have been at the scene, if you have any images of the police response, you can email them to news@krcrtv.com. You can call the newsroom at area code 530-243-7782 as we continue to gather more information about what happened this morning at Rancho Tehama Elementary School. Coy, thank you for joining us, and this continues to be a breaking story. We'll pass along additional information as it becomes available.